I probably had maybe a little bit of an unusual journey. My dad grew up extremely poor and didn't really speak English until he was about 5 years old. And, but he did well, partly due to a lot of youth groups at that time, and moved up to Chico and decided to buy a little ranch. He knew nothing about farming or animals, and neither did my mom. So here I was as a kid, right, trying to learn this. So how am I going to learn it? It was really 4-H that taught me how to, care for animals and take care of them, and how to deal with the crises that you experience as you're, growing up on a farm and dealing with animals. So I remember one day I came out of the house and I saw that somebody had opened the gate, and all of my little hogs that I was going to show, they were all running around, and they had actually rooted up the grass. They rooted up the flower bed, and then I looked over and I saw Brian, one of our friends. I won't tell you his last name. Well, he had found a case of beer in the cornfield, and in that he had poured it into the trough, and then he had let all my pigs out, and he was laughing like crazy because they loved that beer and they were drinking, and by the time I got there, some of them had already passed out in the flower bed, and I thought, oh, my mom is going to kill me. And of course, I couldn't tell my dad, what am I going to do? So I called my 4-H advisor, and I told her what happened.
Of all people.
And she said, first of all, don't panic, because I was actually worried. I thought some of these pigs may not live, right? Especially the one passed out in the flower bed, And she goes, don't worry, they're going to be okay. But how do I get that one out of the flower bed? She goes, well, don't kick it, because you don't want to injure the meat. But, so I told my sister, run in. She said, put some ice in a pail and some water, and then throw it. And it worked. It's like, and when the pig squeals, you know that squeal, right? But after a case of beer, wow, it's a really different squeal. So my 4-H advisor really came to the thing. And also, she reminded me that, don't get mad at Brian. Make him your friend, because he's got to help you put the pigs back in the pen. Yeah. And so after that time, we did learn to put a lock. So 4-H was just helpful in all of it, especially our family. Yeah.
Give it up for Tina!
Yeah.
So, Aubrey, anything like that for you happening in Delaware?
Similar story.
Of course.
My friend Brian.
You
No.
had a very different squeal.
No. My 4-H, well, I'd also like to thank some people too. My grandparents are here, and they were the ones that put me in 4-H. So thank you. And my aunt is also here, who is like my sister, and we've been in 4-H. We were in 4-H together since we were 8 years old, and she's also here, and I'm so happy that you're here. And Doug Krause, who's the Delaware 4-H program leader, is here, and he's the one that emailed me out of the blue. Hadn't heard from you in a while, Doug, so that was nice to hear from you, and I'm just so psyched to be here, honestly.
Again, it was that different squeal.
It was, yeah.
Did he come with flowers, though?
Yeah. Yes. So I just wanted to thank them for the reason why I'm here, and my 4-H. What was the question again? Was it? Which one was it?
I don't know.
Okay.
No. What was your 4-H experience like in Wilmington?
Okay, so it's interesting because I think a lot of people, as you know, associate 4-H with agriculture and in more rural areas. And I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware, which is a city, and it's not. Delaware as a state has rural communities, and I think most of the 4-H is focused in southern Delaware in those kind of communities. But my 4-H group was more community service based, and so my grandparents lived around the corner from a woman named Pat Schaefer, who has passed away. She was our 4-H leader growing up, and I also wouldn't be here today without her, so
Rock on,
R.I.P.
Pat.
Rock on.
Right, Mr. Pat Schaefer.
She would be really, really happy to know that I was here and that Bridget and I were here together. She was a very feisty lady. She ran the 4-H club out of her house right in downtown Wilmington, and she got every kid on the block that she could to be in the club, and she was just a real inspiration. She was tough, and she led a program that, basically changed my life. I mean, we did all sorts of things that we were exposed to, things that we would have never been exposed to without her and without 4-H. And I believe that it made me, it shaped me and gave me all of the opportunities that I have today, and which is why I'm here to celebrate that.
Great. Well, it's done you very well. I'm a huge fan of it.
Thanks. Me too.
I'm a huge fan. Well, Aubrey, I don't know if you all caught this video of Aubrey on the Stephen Colbert Show, but Aubrey was recently on the show, and
Yes.
something pretty incredible happened.
Oh God, what did I do? Oh no!
Something pretty incredible.
What did I
I think
say?
we have the
Wasn't
clip.
the flower bed after?
Okay, good.
Exactly.
Do we have the clip of that? I think we do.
Oh, yeah. Which is one that
Oh,
I
no.
would not have suspected of you, is that you were in 4-H when you were younger.
Yes.
I did not know you grew up in a farm community.
I did not. But
Where did you grow up?
But I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware,
Okay.
and there are a lot of farming communities in Delaware, but I grew up in the city. And yeah, 4-H is kind of known, I think, more as an agricultural-based youth program.
Yeah,
but,
you learn about like cattle and animal husbandry and stuff like
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
And I did some stuff. I got into that. I've sheared some sheep in my day, and
No, seriously, you've sheared sheep?
yeah.
Do they fight back when you're shearing them?
No, they sing and they tell you stories, and they're like, they're really sweet.
Or are they bummed out about it? Are they bummed out about
I
it?
don't know. I'm not. No, I didn't.
don't know?
I did it like once, but
Okay.
and I had my uncle raised a pig, so I got to be around that. I got to see that. And,
What do the 4-H's stand for? That's one thing I don't know.
Well, there's actually a pledge that explains that, which I can say for you.
I would love it. I would love it.
If I remember it. I pledge my head to greater thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living for my club, my community, my country, and my world.
And so should we all.
Yeah.
And so should
I
we
know.
all,
It's
Aubrey
not,
Plaza.
Yeah, it's not a joke. That's really what the pledge is.
No one here thinks it's a joke.
No, I know. I was saying. No, I was just
That was
saying
sincere
it. No,
appreciation.
I know. I'm just saying it so everybody knows. Like, I'm not making fun.
And you're getting a 4-H award, right?
I am. I'm getting the Alumni Medallion Award, the Legacy Award, because I'm an alumni. It was a really big part of my growing up. It made me kind of who I am, and it'll hopefully bring more awareness to the program. It's a really amazing program.
Aubrey, you did an amazing job
Thanks.
reciting the pledge, but it's so.
I know, I can't believe I did that. That was
But
so
it's amazing.
weird.
But it's like, when you are brought up with these things, they're not just words. They really stick with you, and like you're saying, they make an impact on the entire rest of your life. So bravo, both of you. Bravo. So really proud of you.